Hi, I'm Bob Higginbotham. I'm going to speak to you about the Craft Defensive Tactics Program. The Craft DT program is both a means of liability mitigation as well as a significant change in training methodology in law enforcement. As a liability mitigation, having a Craft DT instructor that is in-house is a benefit for liability mitigation because your instructor is capable of investing short time periods into your people, such as in a squad room time period, and to maintain a continuous and ongoing training program. Normally, you're having to send your people out and beyond, just like you are having to with an in-house instructor program such as this one. The difference is this program is in a post format, and your instructor will return to your department or your agency with a manual that allows them to break their training sessions up into easily digestible format for your people so that you can do it without having the expense of overtime. As to a training methodology, the Craft DT program is a blend of cognitive science, sociology, and psychology to help your officers internalize both the law of the land, court precedents such as Graham versus Connor, help them to internalize your agency's policy and philosophy as it pertains to the use of force. And in so doing, or by internalizing these concepts or taking them off the paper and placing them inside them as a value set, they're able to make decisions that are in alignment with your organizational philosophies, yet without the hesitation that comes from having to respond out of conventional or traditional training along a force continuum. As we're all aware, Graham versus Connor is the law of the land. There are some addeds to that. Things like the taser have brought along court cases that indicate we need to be aware of the propensity for secondary injuries in certain circumstances. But basically, objectively reasonable force is the threshold, or is what we're looking for in a response from our officers. The Craft Defensive Tactics program is a proven and comprehensive curricula that is reverse engineered without compromise. What I mean by reverse engineered and without compromise is that I've taken over 25 years of training experience, over 15 years as a law enforcement officer. I've investigated thousands of use of force incidents, including deadly force incidents and officer-involved shootings. I have been responsible for writing use of force policy. I've been responsible for managing the relationship between a police department and our community or their community. And in so doing, I've seen the results of conventional or traditional training go awry in officer decision making and the damage that causes within a community, or the distrust that causes. And ultimately, that causes an increased cost for the department itself as well as for the officer personally. What I've done is I've made a comprehensive curricula that builds upon first internalizing the case precedents that guide us, like Graham versus Connor or Tennessee versus Garner, and I take those concepts or those precepts and I place them into the gymnasium out of the classroom environment so that the officer is constantly making decisions in the training environment that are based off of those guidelines. Conventional or traditional tactical training separates the two issues, and we keep one topic in the classroom and then we go to the gymnasium to practice DT, and the two do not separate. These things go in hand, and we should be training like that. What I mean by zero compromise is that conventional training dictates that an officer learns an array of techniques that are at best difficult to recall, let alone under stress. Typically, officers are presented with a superfluous amount of information and then hoping that they walk away with one technique that serves them best. And this is a flawed training methodology. The proper way to teach people or teach officers defensive tactics is to teach them tactical principles that are viable in a myriad of situations, so that then you can build upon those principles with smaller, more confined precepts. If you'll confine that training to a very small handful of principles, then what you have is an officer who's responding intuitively with the self-discipline that comes along with an internalized organizational value, always mindful of their mission, always mindful of the organizational values. They're going to be capable of responding with their natural instincts, yet remain in line with organizational values. Another facet of Zero Compromise is that this program blends well with quality firearms training, as well as with building clearing programs, recognized programs such as the NTOA, active shooter, or building clearing programs. The two disciplines should not be taught in a different manner. What you teach in a quality program in building clearing or close quarters firearms tactics should blend well with your defensive tactics program. The Craft DT program does just that. I have over 10 years of SWAT experience. I've served as a sniper team leader, an entry team leader, the tactical supervisor on a 24-member SWAT team. I have a large amount of training experience as well, beyond that, teaching SWAT tactics to police officers. And again, this program is reverse engineered so that it blends well with common accepted practices. This has been a brief overview of the program. I hope that you look at a couple of the other videos and look at the distinction between the Craft DT program and the conventional or traditional law enforcement defensive tactics programs that are out there. Thank you for watching.